Seltzer Kings
podcasts.
She's the key.
You put that in my house.
We knew the Slayer would protect.
My memories. My mom's.
We built them.
Then unbuild them. This is my life. You're...
You cannot abandon.
I didn't ask for this. I don't even know. What is she?
Human. Now human. And helpless. Please. She's an innocent in this. She needs you.
She's not my sister.
She doesn't know that.
Howdy, hello, how are you, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys who have watched all of Buffy, and now we're doing some rewatches for certain episodes. We are your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 5, Episode 5, titled No Place Like Home, directed by David Solomon, written by Douglas Petrie, original air date October 24th, 2000. To an audience of 6.41 million people. And I gotta say, the random number generator did us a solid with this one.
It got us out of our own head. It got us to look at an episode that we would have never picked otherwise. This title threw us all off.
Yeah, I would have never gone back and saw this title and been like, oh, this is a linchpin key episode.
In my notes, I have, this is another... almost feels like a reset episode. Mm-hmm. It's like the one that gets this season really kicked off. I know the first episode with the reveal of Dawn is like shocking or like surprising, but this is the one that really sets everything in motion. The magic box, Anya working there. It's so much stuff that happens in this episode, and also the stuff with Joyce. It's got everything.
Yeah. But before we get into the episode, please join our Discord. Hop on there. Let us know what you think about it. Let's have some lively conversations. We got a bunch of stuff going on the Discord. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy. We're doing Boys Watching Angel, which, what an episode of Angel this week.
We got some stuff to talk about with that one.
Yeah, what an episode of Angel this week.
The episode is called Destiny, if you're listening out of order and trying to figure out which one we're talking about.
Yeah, we just got the Destiny on Angel, and who buddy. We also do Boys Watching Movies. We just put out Jawbreaker, so that was a good time. And yeah, man. And yeah, if you want to, no shout outs today. No. And I think... honestly, I think this might be the end today. This was the end of Sloppy Joe. I think we're putting Sloppy Joe out to pasture because we're only going to do a couple more episodes before we hop into Firefly. Next week, we're going to drop a movie review that we had on Patreon. We're going to drop one of those for you. And then the week after, we've got something very special planned for you guys. Very special. It's been booked. It's in the calendar for a minute. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that should be fun.
It's going to be a good one. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to crack open this watermelon bad boy because I'm feeling good about fucking No Place Like Home.
Oh, yeah. I got another one of those bent up cans that didn't do the clear opening.
Dude, some of them did. Yeah, they did. Yeah. The lids got got kind of dinged up.
Yeah, that's probably the transport.
Yeah.
But
I mean, this watermelon one's got a bunch of like black stuff all over it too. You see that at the bottom? I don't know what that is.
I'm going with the Skittles C4, so I'm going to be wired.
You're going to be on one today. But yeah, man, No Place Like Home. I really enjoyed the rewatch of this. Again, like I said, I never would have looked at this title and remembered exactly what it was. But going back to it, there were so many key moments. Introduction of Glory, who is one of my favorite big bads. Like, she's just so weird and entertaining at the same time. And it was like a cool, dude, I just love fucking Glory, man. She's awesome.
She's like one of the perfect Buffyverse villains. Like her style, yes. Her jokiness, her quipping, her being powerful, being delightfully evil.
Yeah.
It fits. She fits perfectly in this world.
And I remember last episode we were talking about how nobody has really replaced Cordelia in the show. I mean, maybe Glory a little bit, because she has a little bit of that Cordelia quality to her. Because I know that we talked about that when we were recording this season previously. Mm-hmm. But she has a little bit of that quality. She's super fashionable. She's like the MVP of Joe's Fashion Report /Corner.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was nice to see her in all of her glory, you know, but once again, because I forgot what a good time she was. And the intro, what I loved about this episode is the setting up of a bunch of mysteries. I feel like they set these mysteries up very well in this episode.
Yes, you didn't feel as strongly in the previous podcast that we did of this episode.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I 100% believe it. But that's the benefit of hindsight, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Going back, seeing all the stuff that was being set up, I was like, this is pretty great.
Were you annoyed by Dawn in the first half of this episode?
See, because I knew what Dawn was, I was less annoyed by Dawn. I mean, they're hamming up the annoying factor of Dawn.
I think she plays it perfectly. She plays it perfectly.
I feel like they purposely, you know, in this season specifically, made her way more annoying than she would grow to be later on. But I mean, that comes with the knowledge of you being a mystical key full of ball of energy or whatever.
Watching Michelle Trachtenberg in this season or this episode really made me disappointed for her underutilization in season 7, because she has acting chops. She has a skill. She has a great chemistry with Buffy, with Sarah Michelle Gellar. And I just feel like we didn't capitalize on that for a big finale.
I'll agree with you on that, because she does show a good range of acting chops in this episode alone.
Yeah, like when she gets pushed against the wall and she goes toe to toe and just stares at Buffy with daggers, and you're just like, you're hurt as the little sister, and you know that your sister's the Slayer, and you really have no physical chance against her, and you're just standing there, and your mom's also sick, so you're dealing with that, and man, she's giving it, and then she's playing the obviously forced, like, is she a bad person stuff? Like that tea scene is ridiculously it's perfect. But if you take away and go back, it's like nobody hands tea to someone that way.
Yeah, exactly.
I made it for you. Like, okay. Did you know I was coming back home? I'm surprised.
So many different acting choices in this episode alone. Like, she's playing the annoying little sister, which she's pitch perfect at. Mm-hmm. That scene that you're talking about, where she's like, I know that you're my sister. I know that you're the Slayer, but like, I don't care. Like, I'm still like, I'm not afraid of you because like I quote unquote grew up with you, and we have all these memories, which we'll talk about again.
That moment when Buffy realizes is always great.
And then she's playing like the scary, like when Buffy's on the phone with Giles and she's just like lingering in the background. And I think that might be more of a symptom of the music that's playing too, because they play that like oh, Buffy's in peril type music when Dawn just kind of appears in the background. But she plays like the mysterious, like, uh-oh, is Buffy in danger type of thing. The tea scene, it's like, uh-oh, is Joyce in danger? But then to wrap it all up at the end of the episode, she's like the hurt little sister. Like her feelings were hurt and she's just sitting on the bed and Buffy comes in. She's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, yeah, fuck you, Buffy. You hurt me. You hurt my arm.
Yeah.
And it's like she went through such a range in this one episode that it's like, you're absolutely right that they could have utilized her better after the whole mystery of the key.
You know that she can do a bunch of stuff. Let's have her do it. Like she can do silly, dumb, like I'm a kid sister. She could do like menacing. She could do emotionally hurt and damaged. Yeah, she's good in it. Like she has all the range that you need. And just pairing that with Buffy and then Sarah Michelle Gellar would just be, it's just exactly what you want.
Yeah. And it's not even like on Michelle Trachtenberg either. Like I'm not faulting her at all. Like she acted, she did good with like what she was written.
Yeah.
But she was written not a lot of stuff
I
think
the
last season.
I would say the running thing with all these rewatches is that it just makes season 7 fall
that much
like
worse.
there's nothing that I see and I'm like, all right, I get how season 7 came to be what it was. I mean, they're doing the alone thing and you have to have friends and stuff, but none of it works with the first evil and the potentials. I just focus, like I just really wanted Dawn to try to take up the mantle of being a Scooby and fighting and be on a level and prove, I don't know. There's just stuff there.
A lot of missed opportunities. Yeah, that's I know that there's some people that are like, I think that season 7 like kind of ends pitch perfect. It's like, oh, this is a great ending.
Yeah, that's fine if you want to, like the imagery. I feel like the ending of season 7 is like the ending imagery of Amends, where you wanted that picture. Just how you got to that picture isn't my favorite. Yeah.
And it's like such a bummer. Like personally, like season 7 has kind of left a sour taste in my mouth to where like, I'm like, I don't even like, I was talking to Vance off mic and I was just like, man, is Buffy even good? Like, I don't even know if, and then going back and rewatching some of this, I'm like, oh yeah, it was good. It's just season 7 syndrome that I have. This is me personally.
I know. I can separate myself from that. And there are people that that haven't seen a lot of season 7. Like even when we were watching, they were like, oh yeah, I rewatched the show a lot, but I haven't rewatched season 7.
Yeah.
So some people decide, hey, you know what, I'm not going to watch these episodes or I'll skip through this. So it has been a thing in the Buffy fandom of people
I feel like it
picking and choosing.
And you talked about this happening for people with Game of Thrones, where like there's a lot of people that are like, that those last seasons kind of ruined it for me.
I mean, that took Game of Thrones out of like the consensus of people talking about it being the best show ever. Like,
yeah,
when it was peak, people would not shut up about Game of Thrones. It fell off, and then it just was like silent until like House of the Dragon came out. You know,
yeah.
It was like no one was talking about like, yeah, Game of Thrones. Hey, have you seen Game of Thrones? People were so like, dude, you haven't seen The Wire? You haven't seen Sopranos? You haven't seen Breaking Bad? Like, but people are like, hey, but you haven't seen Game of Thrones? They're like, well, the ending's kind of.
Yeah. And what's crazy is season 5, I don't even consider peak Buffy. Like, I think it's a pretty decent season. But this isn't even peak. And I'm like, this is so much better than what's going on in season 7.
I think this might be peak podcast though. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we were good at this once. Glory days. Passing by glory days. But yeah, this is so the general like kind of synopsis. This is a
we don't do a synopsis.
But like this is there's so many like important moments for
we'll
this.
We'll talk about the moment, but we don't have to do a synopsis, right?
So up until this point, there's been like this huge mystery of like, who the fuck is Dawn? Dawn even writes in her journal like, oh, she doesn't even know who I am, which was like such a
so forced.
Oh, she thinks I'm just the little sister. She doesn't even know who I really am, or whatever she was writing in her journal. And then we get that like flashback in the beginning of the episode, and I was like, come on.
Yeah, what were you even thinking when you wrote that?
Yeah. I think I remember on Discord people being like, that was just her being a teenage girl.
No, that was the writers just really forcing their hand. Because also in our previous podcast, we didn't know what Tara was at this point too. So there was also, we're also wondering, because family is the next episode.
Yeah.
So we're just like, oh boy, what is... See, and that was the thing about you really did... You talked about on Restless that you were like, oh, I can't believe, like, the Terror thing sucks because they didn't pay it off and it didn't mean anything. But it was like the teasing of Terror stuff was still good, I think, because we didn't know.
Yeah, but it's like teasing and then you get a ruined orgasm.
Well, you have, well, here's the thing. You have the tease and you pay off for Dawn, but then Tara, you also think she's going to be something crazier. But instead of it being a audience shock, it's a character shock. Like, it's shocking for Tara to learn that she's not a demon and that her mom also probably wasn't. And who knows if that family just killed her mom because of what's happening. So I don't know. I was okay with that because I didn't need like back-to-back reveals of Tara being a monster, Dawn being a ball of energy, you know?
Yeah. I also, watching the recap at the beginning of the episode, I forgot that at this point, I forgot that Riley had like a bunch of circuitry all through his veins. And he had just gotten that surgery done, and Spike's trying to get his chip taken out in the last episode. That's so fucking nuts. When Graham's on the basketball court with Riley, like, yeah, we got pumped up with a bunch of drugs and you got the most of them. And like, so far, I know that Riley has his insecurity issues later on in this season, but like, are they kind of stoked on by Dawn, Buffy through Dawn? Because there's a scene in the magic box where Dawn is like, oh yeah, Buffy said that you're like you're a weakling little kitten and she doesn't want you out in the field because you're so weak now. And Riley's like, I'm going to go fucking punch a punching bag. Is that still in the back there, Giles? Can we just do that? I think without some of the I don't even want to say condescension because Buffy didn't even do it. But like Dawn saying that to Riley, that could have sent him down a path of like, oh yeah, Buffy doesn't think that I'm a worthy Scooby, I guess.
Buffy also did a bunch of stuff too throughout it. Like, we're not going to rewrite history and make this is, she also, like the scene before she was talking to him in the cave or whatever and mentioned like, I'm with you, not Spike because of stuff. Like, she was already drifting. And you could tell she's drifting because she calls Spike William.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And telltale sign.
Yeah. She was emotionally unavailable. Mm-hmm. And Riley, he knew it.
He knew it. He just kept going back because he's a golden retriever Iowa boy.
He is. He's such a simple, good guy. He doesn't work in Sunnydale. That's what the problem is. A person like him does not survive in Sunnydale.
He's good at following orders. You tell him to fetch, he goes yapping after it. You
got to have a little bit of a weird edge to be in Sunnydale. Like, Xander has a weirdness to him.
In your man.
Xander has a little weird edge to him. Giles has a real edge to him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, just when I see Riley, when Buffy kicks him out when she's about to do the spell, and he shakes her hand and then kisses her on the forehead, I was like, you guys have been sleeping together, right? He's just such a good old boy. Yeah.
He needs to have a little darkness.
He doesn't need the level of darkness that Spike says Buffy wants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Spike's an unreliable narrator.
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found like myself feeling bad for Riley like throughout this entire episode. I was like, man,
the series, we've always been. I know we have a Xander Defender shirt that you put up, but we're Riley defenders to a certain extent. Chemistry wise, absolutely does not work. On screen, they do not pop. They do not pop on screen. We'll admit that. If you don't like it for that, fine. I can understand being like, I don't even want her to be with them because the scenes are boring. That's fine. He's not a terrible person. I think when we relitigate it,
his under the current misogyny, Vance,
as opposed to the open misogyny of Spike. I'd rather have it out in the open than just like simmering under surface.
Yeah. That's like the Norm Macdonald had his amazing joke about how he's like, when all the Bill Cosby stuff came out, one of his friends goes, I know the worst part about it all is the hypocrisy. He's like, really? The hypocrisy. That's the worst part. Oh, man. But I mean, and you even get that juxtaposition in this episode when, Buffy comes outside and Spike has been, standing there. We get the classic line. This episode, I would have never guessed.
This episode, I will say this line is a lot better for me second time around.
Spike, what are you doing here? 5 words or less. Out for a walk. Bitch. It does the hang loose.
Yeah, he does a look away hang loose, which is
I forgot about the hang loose.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Man, we also get the best visual gag ever when they go into the magic box and Giles in his little wizard outfit. And it's just the fact that they played that without any words was just delightful.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was just long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Buffy shows up, she walks in, she stops at the top of the stairs. Cut to Giles looking shit-eating grin, just so happy, looking like so adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Cut back to Buffy, cut back to Giles just giving up.
That's when Giles died and decided, you know what, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave this girl when she needs me the most.
When she needs me most.
Yes.
I'll remember this moment.
Revenge is the dish best served cold. That's my headcanon.
Yeah. The light inside Giles died in that moment.
And the Watcher's heart shrank 10 times that day.
But then it's also amazing when Willow shows up and she's like, Giles, where's your little hat and gown?
Yeah.
Riley's like, yeah, I'm super stoked to see that. And Giles is like, it's stupid. Don't ask about that. Don't worry about it.
He's like sleeping in bed with the hat, crying.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He just goes to the bathroom. He does that like water splash on his face that's in every movie. You're a strong and powerful man, Giles. You are her watcher. She looks up to you.
Oh, man. And then we get the magic box stuff that we can't fathom how this works.
Oh, my God, yes. I mean, even Giles says it in this episode where they're like, he's a little bit sad that no one's coming to the store at the beginning of the episode. He's like, there's nobody here yet. There's nothing really going on. This is kind of sad. I'm worried about it. And then I think Willow or somebody says like, well, there's a bunch of monsters and demons and shit. You think that there's going to be a lot of customers eventually. And Giles is like, yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Like, bro, you are Tony Stark. You are supplying the weapons to all of the villains. You're creating all of these villains. It's crazy.
People are like, you're not even selling. I mean, we brought this up a bunch, but you're not even selling fake stuff. You're selling actual stuff that does actual magic.
Dude, he sells magic stuff to Glory later on.
Yes. Even in this episode, Anya's like, hey, you should, she has a line about the hand of Glory is very powerful. You should have a 6-day waiting period or something. Like treating it like it's a gun, basically.
Yeah. And
background checks on people. And I'm like, yeah, you should absolutely know who bought what at all times in this town. Like, you should need an ID to go to the magic shop.
Yes.
Like, you should have to fill out a form or something. Because I could just see, hey, what do you want to do after school? Hey, let's go by that magic shop and, like, fuck around with some shit.
Oh, yeah. Let's open a book and read 3 words and have it burst into flames.
You cannot tell a teenager not to try that shit.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Dude, I mean, even everyone's played that fucking game where you're like Bloody Mary into a mirror 3 times. Teenagers would absolutely try and do some crazy shit.
And Giles is like, hey, if you got cash, you know, if you have U.S. currency, whatever, man, knock yourself out.
He's a capitalist running dog now, or whatever Willow says.
I want to see the gingerbread moms come after the magic box.
They should.
Yeah.
Thank God. You know what? Thank God that Willow blew this place up. You know what? Maybe that was the best thing that Dark Willow did.
She blew it up after Giles like left it to Anya. He was like,
that's true. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, this is just my, I'm going to get out of here. You take it over.
Yeah. Though he did supply her with all of the dark magic books that eventually turned her into Dark Willow. So.
Yes. That they just kept out in the open.
Yeah.
But they were behind a rope.
Climb a ladder.
And they were behind a little rope, I think. And you had to climb a ladder. That was
climb a little ladder,
that
man.
was accessible.
That deters a lot of people.
I want to learn dark magic, but I don't want to climb ladder.
Oh, it's up there?
All right.
I'm good.
Just give me the slug perfume or whatever.
Candle or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, and again, with the diversity of sets, I forgot what a fucking fun place the magic box is. Like, I love the green of it all. It's so good. It gives them a place to hang out. I know that Xander mentions in this episode, like, did you ever think that you'd miss the library? I'm like, this is a good replacement for the library. There's books. It's basically a library.
I like the reference of that line though, which was nice.
Yeah, that is nice. But that was 2 seasons ago at this point.
Because I always thought they were going to have the library in the college. I thought he was going to end up working there because he was.
Yeah.
All season 4, Giles didn't know what he was going to do with himself. So I'm surprised they had it last that long, but I'm happy they landed on the magic box. The magic box logistically is insane, but it's still a nice spot.
Yeah. How do you feel about the dropped personality character trait of Dawn being very clumsy? I feel like that doesn't really factor in too much later on.
I think it's just for gags at the beginning.
Yeah.
She does a little bit of stuff, but it's not as much, you know?
Yeah.
Did you notice all the Restless shots in the opening credits?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I did.
I was like, does everyone get a shot from Restless as their intro? Yeah.
Yeah. And like we said it with the last episode, like this episode had the high fidelity intro song. And it's like very obvious.
Yeah.
I think that they made that switch in season 3.
Maybe.
I'm going to have to get, because we didn't mention it when we went and redid amends. So it had to they had to re-record it for season 3.
Yeah. Or maybe it was like middle. I don't remember ever bringing up that they changed the intro. It wasn't as noticeable, but yeah. Here we get the beginning of Dr. Intern Ben.
I was just about to ask that. Do you think, so now that we know the mystery of Dr. Intern Ben and Glory, and is there a connection between them? Do you think they pulled it off well here?
What do you mean pulled it off well here?
Like, do you think that So Gloria, at a certain point when she's torturing the monk and that like plumber guy, she starts going crazy. She starts talking to herself. And now that we know that she and Dr. Intern Ben are housed in the same being, do you think it was like a good, clear nod that she's like maybe talking to Ben in those moments?
No. I mean, it just makes her seem crazy. I wasn't paying attention to what she said again. Were you paying attention to what she said?
I was, because she was talking about like, you always do this, like you can't take it over or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. So they did plant those seeds pretty fucking right from the beginning.
Oh, so she is talking to Dr. Intern Ben, do you think, in that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Because I was like kind of eagle-eyed. I don't know the exact quotes, but it was stuff that was kind of like, you always do this. You're always trying to shut me out. It's not even yours. And I was just, well, I think that it's not even yours was to the monk about the key. But like when she's going crazy, like it can be read as her talking to Dr. Intern Ben, which I was like, all right, that's nice.
I mean, the other question is like, is she there and at the hospital? What time frame is all this happening at the same time? Because they can't be in two places at once. But I do like the magic that when he changes, other people can't see it. Why? There's a lot of explanation of like why Dawn, because when it changed in front of Dawn and then Dawn didn't know it and we're like, is she just not going to tell? But
I remember we was being very confused about like, why the fuck isn't Dawn saying anything?
And in this re-listening to the previous podcast, we were very confused. We were still confused about whether or not, like, we had a debate of what was going on with Joyce. And we landed on, oh, maybe it's an aneurysm, tumor stuff. And it was like, oh, whoa, maybe that's it. And I was like, you can just use magic to solve it or bring it back to life. Because everyone's going back to life. But we were kind of debating that. Our biggest debate was when and if Buffy would tell the Scoobies about Dawn. I said she would do it like the next episode. You said, no, it's going to take a while. They're going to milk it. I think they tell Giles the next episode. I think they're on the couch and they talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that like, dude, and Buffy going on a fucking trip.
Oh, doesn't she go? Yeah, she goes on her first Slayer trip meeting.
Well, she does it later on in the season, but I was talking about her like druggy concentration trip that she goes on. And you can tell that it's like psychedelic because they have like pan flute music going on.
Yeah. I still can't get over what Joyce is doing.
Dude.
Oh man, I got like some head thing. Hey, the medicine's working. I'm going to go out tonight. Go out
for a few hours.
Where are you going? To the movies? Just out? You have 2 daughters at home. You're just out? You're just going to go out? And you weren't even going to tell Buffy? You were just going to walk out. You weren't even going to tell Dawn you're out?
That's Joyce. She's a strong, independent woman.
And Buffy's like, oh, yeah, Mom, just go outside. I'm sure it's safe. Have you been outside, Buffy?
Yeah, and at this point, Joyce knows that Buffy's a Slayer. Yeah. It's nighttime. Her mom is like, I'm going out.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, are you going to go on patrol, dear? It's like, you should be in the house. If I'm on patrol, if I'm not even on patrol, that's even worse.
Right, dude? It is insane. She's like, I'm going to go out for a couple hours. Don't worry about me. What, Mom, you should. Nah, the medicine's working. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I think
it's like not only does she have to worry about fucking vampires running all over. There, vampires, I use that as an umbrella term for every manner of demon that's in this. But also now she has like an actual medical condition where she's like fainting and shit. Like, stay home, please.
And then she comes in and it's like, I started feeling bad again, so I had to cut my night short. What was Joyce's night out? I hope that's a comic. I hope there's a comic that's Joyce's night out.
That's part of season 9. A little flashback to what Joyce...
I'd read the one where she went on the date with that guy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'd read that one just to see what that would be like. Someone had to write the fan fiction of her on that date.
Definitely. What was the guy's name? Ben? No, it's not Ben. Because Dr. Intern Ben.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to throw 2 same name people.
Yeah, no.
But my God, if I remember that guy's name.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's the episode when she comes home from it. than the body.
Yeah. I mean, they do a great job setting up because we did not know the body was coming.
Yeah. That was just fucking... Like, I hadn't even heard about that episode. Like, I've heard... when we were first watching it, like, I knew that there was a musical episode.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that there was the Hush silent episode. I knew nothing about the body, and that hit you like a ton of fucking bricks, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the emotional impact really is felt when I go back and watch these episodes. Because I'm like, oh, yeah. Because we talked a lot about, they should probably just like, Dawn's not real, right? We had a lot of that jokes. I felt so much more sympathy watching this episode for Buffy's plight.
For Dawn?
For Buffy's plight and for Buffy's plight. Yeah.
Dude, I never lost sympathy for Buffy's plight. This world is insane.
Yes, the men have screwed her over so bad. The monks really screwed her over. Sorry, I have some construction happening. If you can hear that in the background, I don't know if it's going to be there, but it's, living in a big city. You know what I mean?
That's life in the big city, baby.
Life in the big city. People are like, yeah, that's why I don't live there.
Yeah, I'll stay in Texas.
Yeah, they're like, I'll do my podcast in silence. But yeah, like, I know, I mean, I think in season 5, we definitely joked around about like, oh, and even in the finale, I'm sure we were talking about like, well, Buffy, you kind of do got to let Dawn die to save the world and stuff. She is a key. But
Who cares, dude? She's fake.
But I felt like, yeah, you really can't. Because, well, I think, what really hit me this episode is the monk's acting performance at the end. I think he really gives it. I think he does a good job at that in that scene.
I think his death is a little.
The
other stuff is good.
I thought he just faded away fine. I mean, it's insane that Glory broke her heels, and then stepped, and then somehow destroyed one floor of the building.
Yeah.
And then just doesn't go after the guy that she needs to get the key. Like, the monk is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he's dead.
Yeah, he was just alive in the chair, and then Buffy unshackles him, and
he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna die because Glory."
Well, they did fall from like a 4-story drop.
Yeah, well, we've seen people. Buffy took the brunt of it.
Yeah, that's how physics work.
Yeah.
It's like that Austin Powers scene where he's falling from the top of the building. He just puts the woman underneath of him.
Which one is that?
Spy Who Shagged Me, number 2. Because he keeps putting the woman in front of him. Like, he gets shot at, and then somebody has a machine gun, and he puts her in front of him again, and then he gets a bazookaed out the window with her, and then he puts her in front of him again to shield his landing. And he's like, why won't you die?
It's insane that Beyonce is in the third one.
Yeah,
that's so
the less
crazy.
we speak of that one is the better.
I feel like Beyonce fans are like, yeah, I don't. That doesn't exist for us.
Yeah, that's not canon.
that never happened. The Queen never did that.
But yeah, the monk, the reveal. Like, I remember when Buffy found that out, how like Buffy's mind has to be melted when she hears that news, because she just did her little acid trip, sees that Dawn isn't real, sees Dawn like flickering in and out of existence, shoves her up against the dresser and's like, you're not my sister. And then Dawn plays like the hurt sister, like, yeah, I never fucking wanted to be your sister anyway, or whatever. And Buffy's very suspicious of like, what Dawn is. She could be here to hurt her and her mom. And then she finds out that she's a key, and that she has to protect. I remember when the monk says, and you have to protect her, what the catch-22 of like, God, I have to live with this annoying brat piece of shit and protect her. And she's not real. And she's very integral to all of this.
The thing that hit me more was Dawn doesn't know.
Yeah.
That's what hit me more to this watch. It's like, Dawn doesn't know. And he's like, what is she? And he's like, she's human now. Like, that's it. Like, we did it. And it wasn't even that hard for us to do because we did it while we were not paying attention doing a spell while the door was being broken down. So it really wasn't even that hard for us to do all this. Yeah. Watching that opening scene, like, focus, we have to do this. And the one guy's looking back at the door, like half humming. And I was like, wait, come on. That should definitely mess up, right?
Yeah. I mean, in Doctor Strange, spoilers for Doctor Strange.
Like the Doctor Strange thing, it's like, you got to focus on these spells.
Yeah. Like, you got to concentrate if you're doing like world reality altering spells. And they're like looking over their shoulders, dude.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, no. It's like something should have came
One guy yelling,
up.
Concentrate! Was he exhibit?
She should have her arm coming out of her head. She should look like deformed. It should be like, oh, we messed up. Maybe bad.
Maybe that's why she's so annoying. They forgot to that.
No, they nailed it perfectly for these monks. They nailed an American teenage girl very well.
Yeah, that bratty, like, annoying.
Here's my real question now. It says 2 months earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were they already in Sunnydale when they did this? Where's that door being knocked down? Because I remember originally watching it and thinking, oh, it's like somewhere else.
Yeah, same. They don't say a location when they do the 2 months earlier.
But Buffy walks through, when she goes into that warehouse, there's a big hole in that like wall.
Mm-hmm.
Which
that's because that's later on.
That's the second. That's when she comes after that one guy.
Yes,
because she's breaking down
the Dagon sphere, or planted the Dagon sphere.
Yeah, but that's someone else. I mean, they were somewhere else the first time that she burst through and killed the other two.
Yeah,
but where was that first location?
I don't think it really matters. I don't think it's in Sunnydale.
So, was it somewhere over? Because we had a talk about this, about when did Dr. Intern Ben get here? Like they just got here.
Yeah.
But where were they before? And is he just traveling? Because Glory seems like she's been around longer than 2 months, though.
Yes.
Glory and this kid. So like they've been tied together longer than they've been after the monks. Or they've probably been going after the monks this whole time, but this is the closest she got to it 2 months ago when they decided to do the key thing.
You know what? Yeah, thinking about the Dr. Ben situation, Dr. Intern Ben, sorry, listeners.
We had, in this episode, we had even landed on calling him that fully. You called him You called him Dr. Ben, and I was like, Intern Ben. We hadn't put it all together yet. And he calls himself, everyone else calls me man nurse.
But if it is 2 months, because the whole story about it is like Glory is within Ben's body since birth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like she was dormant within him until maybe these 2 months ago.
I don't think she was dormant within him 2 months ago, because he talks about it with her that they've been going at this for a while. His
whole life, yeah.
So the 2 months is like when she tracked down the monks.
I feel like then in that case it has to be in Sunnydale, because unless Dr. Intern Ben just like transferred to Sunnydale hospital or whatever.
He could have transferred there 2 months ago.
Yeah. Or within the 2 months. Because if Glory, we suspect that it's another location like in Rome or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's very minor, but it was something I was trying to figure out watching this.
Yeah. And I forgot about the whole Dagon sphere thing. That plays like a pivotal role like throughout this whole thing.
Does it?
Yeah, doesn't Robot Buffy have the Dagon sphere in the final battle?
Yeah, she throws it at Glory, and then Glory crushes it in her hands.
Yeah. It plays throughout the entire season.
That's not pivotal. It doesn't do anything.
I mean, they think it's pivotal.
That's the same thing at the Terra. You can't argue the Terra ending.
Well, you can't argue that the Dagon sphere isn't pivotal if you think that the Terra thing is good.
I didn't say the terror thing was pivotal. Pivotal means it changes everything. If you get rid of the Dagon sphere, it doesn't do anything.
That's why I didn't like the Terra thing.
Terra thing does stuff because she makes everyone go blind from magic because she's trying to hide a secret. It actually does change a bunch of shit and they almost get killed because they can't see
Giles
demons.
Is on the phone with Buffy about the Dagon sphere being like, this is the fucking protection from the beast and it's like the most important thing in the whole wide world.
But it's not.
Yeah,
And it doesn't
like
do
Terra wasn't
anything. Like it doesn't. No, but I'm saying Terra thinking that she was something had a ripple effect that almost got them all killed. The Dagon sphere, having it and not having it doesn't change anything.
All right. I disagree.
I don't know what does it change? What does having the Dagon sphere change?
I'm saying
what makes it pivotal? What makes it pivotal is my question.
It's the same as the Terra thing. If you like, because they
no.
It's
Take
pivotal.
the Terra thing out of it. What makes it pivotal?
I was arguing that it's not pivotal. Asking you if you think it's great that it was like pivotal.
Wait, you said pivotal. I never said Terra was pivotal.
I know I was being facetious.
Okay, well, I love that I'm arguing your argument, but your argument wasn't the thing that you wanted to argue.
Yes, I was trying to subvert the argument. I was trying to get you to say that it is pivotal or not pivotal. I'm lost in my own argument at this point. Yeah. I was likening it to the Terra thing because they're both not pivotal.
Well, I never said the Terra thing was pivotal. So the argument, I never said the Terra thing was pivotal. I said the Terra thing is the same setup of something that then doesn't pay off at the end.
But you like the Terra thing, but you don't like the Dagon sphere thing.
I think the Terra thing affects stuff. The Dagon sphere affects nothing. The Terra thing affects Terra hides the dust and she doesn't help Willow with the thing because she thinks she doesn't want Willow to find out that she's magic. She also then blinds all the Scoobies so they can't see demons because she's afraid that they're going to find out about her. It affects everything. The Dagon sphere doesn't change anything. The only thing the Dagon sphere does is they go, oh, this is a magical ball. And it doesn't affect
magical ball of all time.
It doesn't affect the orb of Thessala is more important. That's that thing does something, but this ball, Glory gets it and goes and then crushes it and it's over. The Buffy bot's more important. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying
the Buffy bot would be so important.
Robots in this world, man, just insane. But
robots are crazy.
Yeah, but I just don't think this orb is the biggest mislead. It's not. It's just a MacGuffin.
All right. I loved seeing Buffy get fucking just wrecked by Glory.
Always fun. Anytime someone gets punched across the room, it's great.
I feel like it was different. This is the first time I feel like we remember seeing Buffy just go flying. She's been flown across the room in fights before, but I feel like it wasn't anything like this. And Glory's line about oh, looks like I just realized something. You have superpowers. Do you fly? Dude, Glory's so good in this episode.
The only part I'll push back on is when she starts getting punched and she's like, hey, you can't do that. And she's backing up. That part's so silly.
Yeah, you can't just go around hitting people.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what are you talking about? That part didn't really add up for her character right there. And she's her stumbling backwards and just taking punches looked weird. But yeah, just that one moment in the fight was a little strange to me.
I did love when she's sneaking up on Buffy when Buffy's talking to the monk and she's doing the little creep fingers I'm going to get you. Yeah, he's shh. And then Buffy turns around. I'm not stupid. And then just gets chucked, dude.
Yeah. Why didn't the monk warn her? Dude. And Buffy has been snuck up on before. I don't know why this time she can't. She figures it out.
Yeah.
There was something. Oh no. I did wonder if, and I know we probably talked about this, if Dawn dies, do the memory of her go away? Like, that's the thing.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't. It seems like it wouldn't, but at the same time, you could do a spell that would let you see that she's not real. But if she's real, then you shouldn't have to. The spell shouldn't really work as much. You know, like it's a tricky thing. If she still is there due to magic, then it seems like there would be a way to reverse that. Oh, Willow says she could turn it back into a key.
Yeah.
So it is reversible.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm saying if she dies, why wouldn't that just like eliminate the whole like you remembered her thing? Wouldn't that just break the spell?
I know that like I brought this up a bajillion times during this season about they should just kill Dawn.
It's not as easy. Not as easy as I think it's a lot harder choice. Watching this again, it's I don't know.
I disagree. She's a goner. She's a goner, man. I don't give a fuck.
All right,
she defies all laws of reality.
You're the one with the sister, so I'll defer to you.
If I found out she was fake, and then like, dude, I would absolutely. It's the life of one versus saving the millions.
And billions. You would just believe the random monk that you heard and this.
I would have just gone on a fucking acid trip, seeing that my sister isn't real, and then the monk is like, "Oh, you have to protect her." No, you don't. Protecting the world would be killing her. I don't think the monks understood that.
I don't understand the monks turning the key into flesh at all. I get it. I get the story for the story. But when they're like, it was pure energy. And then we decided we turn it into this and then come here, come to Sunnydale, lead Glory away from here.
Yeah, do you think that monk was coming to Sunnydale to warn Buffy about her or tell her?
Or to roll that little Dagon sphere onto the ground where Buffy didn't notice it while she was fighting a vampire?
You had to get it given to her by a security guard who's like, you kids and your raves.
It's just an open lot. Did he not see a girl fighting this giant guy?
Oh, and Buffy is in tip-top quip form here. This is the worst of it, I think.
It's quip heavy. Quip heavy.
This one was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this one was bad. Like a full... I think I said it on the podcast. It's an entire conversation.
Yeah.
But, how the hell did that... He's got the gigantic flashlight. That flashlight's comically large.
You mentioned that on a previous podcast.
I know. I was trying to because I have a big flashlight. I have a big mag light like that. And it takes 4 batteries. Mine's not as big as his. How many batteries are in there?
I'm just laughing because you brought this up before. And I just listened to the podcast and you're still harping on how big the flashlight is.
It's so big, dude. How many batteries are in it?
So I'm comparing the size of your flashlight, all right?
I'm in a mag light size comparison.
It's crazy when the guy's in the going crazy later, and he's like, "It's going after your family, your family." It's like that's on the nose. That's a lot.
Well, I mean the previous episodes they come up to Dawn and they grab her and they say, "You don't belong here."
Yes, because they can see through the magic, but they can't see through the magic aura that's surrounding Buffy.
Fair enough.
It's one of those things that's supposed to make us think at this point that they're going after the mom because they're going for Joyce. I understand why it's there, but from what we learned later, it's no way that this guy would say this about Dawn to Buffy because that's what they're always talking about. So it's one of those, when you know what it is, it's a little bit of a forced misleading. You're like, I guess we gotta let it slide.
Yeah.
And we don't know what Glory was doing when she stuck her hands in that guy's brain, because I was very confused the first time I saw that weird special effect.
Keeps her sane. She's got to eat.
And that guy, they just let die in the woods. And Riley brings in his CSI team. I'm telling you, that should have been the spinoff.
It would have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Riley Finn, paranormal investigator. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're just like, okay, dead person. Should we call someone? Nah. Should we call the next of kin? He had a family. We actually saw the family later. Nope.
Nah, he's just missing for forever.
That Queller Demon episode.
God.
There's
some episodes of this show. There are some episodes.
Oh, man. When I think of the Queller Demon, I think of early 30 Rock when Tracy Jordan is off of his drugs and he keeps imagining that little squiggly character that's being played by Rachel Dratch. It's like in a purple face. And that's what I keep picturing the Queller Demon's face to look like.
Dude, Rachel Dratch is such an underrated comedy actress. She's so fucking good.
Also in King of Queens.
My eyes are getting weary. Back is getting tight. I'm sitting here in traffic on the Queensboro Bridge tonight. But I don't care, 'cause all I wanna do is cash my check and drive right home to you. 'Cause baby, all my life I will be driving home to you.
I'm sorry.
You knew what you were doing.
I'm sorry, listeners.
You knew what you were doing.
It was not. I didn't want you to do it. I saw a Reddit thread where someone was like, I don't like that theme song.
Are you kidding me?
No.
that stunned me. I lost myself for a second. Did Glory stick her fingers in my head for me? Because I just lost myself.
Yeah. Not everybody likes everything.
Oh, geez, Louise.
You know what you mentioned on the previous podcast of this? Is that this was when you did your 18-minute long Joe's Fashion Report / Corner on the Met Gala.
Oh my God.
That's what you had plugged on that episode. So if you're on Patreon and you haven't gone back to the Joe's Fashion Report / Corner, there's I think I want to say 2023.
Yeah,
Met Gala?
I remember.
I don't think you did
somebody
the last
on
one,
Discord at that point was like, "Are you gonna do a Met Gala fashion report?" And I was like, "Fuck it, I got some time. I'm not doing anything tonight." And I went through and I saw like some of the things and just picked apart a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was early fashion report / corner, because I think I started the fashion report / corner on episode 2 of this season. Maybe. I'm pretty sure that's when it was. So yeah, man. That has been replaced by Tatas for now as the longest episode. But I think that the episode that I did with you for a while was like the longest episode as well.
And the best, but
Yeah.
The seeds of Giles just being he's a stuttering mess still, which I was surprised by in season 5. I thought he was. What are the people? Are the people going to come? Did I make the right decision? I was like, geez, I thought you were way past that stage. And he also, I do love Xander. Just comes in, it's like, calm down, just be English,
just be very British. You'll be fine.
Yeah, like, geez, buddy. He also just doesn't give Buffy information. Because I do like that this is the beginning of Anya coming into her own, and a little bit, even though she's getting human lessons from Xander. Even though she's been around people her whole life. So ridiculous. She doesn't know how to
She had to act human to manipulate Cordelia. It's so crazy.
You're in this form in high school because you're pretending to be a high schooler to get Cordy to... Yeah. Now she's like, why do I have to say goodbye and have a good day? Like, did you not just sit at a coffee? You didn't sit at a coffee shop one time being a demon? Not once? Anyway, she brings up that, you can do the spell. And I was like, oh, great. She's utilizing her 1,000 years of demonhood and stuff that she knows. This is perfect. And then Giles comes like, oh yeah, all magic has a trace and you can see the remnants of it. And it's like, hey, Giles, you wanna pass this information along any time before this? Just were you gonna say anything if Anya didn't bring it up?
Yeah.
Like he just I don't know if it's a function of the show just needing to have to like hide stuff from Buffy, but Giles just seems to be sitting on info that should be passed along to Buffy.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, Dracula was what, 4 episodes before this?
Yep.
And he still hasn't said, hey, there's a spell that you can do to see the first Slayer. What are you doing, guy? Why are you gatekeeping? He's gatekeeping.
He really was.
Yeah.
Absolutely was.
Oh, man.
And you know what I was thinking about throughout this episode, too? Is Buffy's getting tossed around this building, shattering walls, fighting a hell god, dealing with a fake sister that's just been implanted in her and everyone she knows memories. And the Guardians are just sitting back on their couch, not doing anything.
They're like, is this the time we should give her that weapon that we've made for her? Nah, this is easy. This is easy.
This is light work for Buffy.
Yeah, let's wait till...
There's a goddess of a hell dimension just breaking her back over and over and over again. That's light work for Buffy. Yeah. Let's wait until a priest shows up.
Yeah. They're like, Double Meat Palace, we almost gave it to her because we were like, that is something no one should go through. But then we were like, okay, let's wait for the priest.
The first evil showed up in season 3 and they didn't give her the axe.
No one even thinks about the first evil after that. That's the... Nope. No one's like, did the first evil just show up and disappear? That seems like the first evil, right? That seems like something evil would do.
Yeah, evil would show up and be like, I'll be back.
They would treat vampires like that. Like, hey, have you guys seen Angel in a while? Is he Angelus or Angel? They're like, I don't know. Hey, has anyone seen Spike in a while? No. All right.
Anybody turn on the TV, see what's going on in LA, see if there's anything crazy going on? Nah.
Just...
Nah.
They're Under the Dome. The show that I'm telling you, everyone should watch. Everyone should just watch Under the Dome. It's the most ridiculous show ever.
Yeah.
I did have to look up the hand over fist thing that Buffy brings up about making money.
I remember looking up I think it's the origin of that. And I don't remember what it is because Buffy is I love dude,
I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Her like, what?
I knew when she said it that she was just, it was like classic because they've done that a bunch of times where they'll say a phrase and they're like, what does this phrase mean? Such a writery thing to do. But hand over fist is a nautical term. It's like climbing rope, like this thing, like going hand over fist. So it's like you're just making money, just like pulling a rope down or something. It's that's where it comes from. That's the origin of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just one of those things that you accept.
Yep.
Like Dawn is real.
Like Dawn is real.
All those memories. Yep. Yeah. Dude, this is the monks are so crazy, dude.
I think just from the stuff that we've seen since this episode, it really just heightens the whole mind fuckery.
Absolutely.
And that's why it hits even harder. Yeah.
Never once believe my reality ever.
Yeah.
When is Superstar? Superstar is before this.
Superstar's before this. They definitely set up that the worlds can be altered in Superstar.
Superstar, this episode with the monks and everything.
Then you get normal
Willow's
again.
Forget-Me-Not.
Yeah.
And that's not even mentioning what's on our patreon.com/Buffy.
Yeah.
That's the argument for killing Dawn. Who cares? None of this is real. I don't know what's real. If this is going to help us in the long run, just do it.
I don't think it's as easy as you make it out to be, but I'll let you do it.
I mean, this is like my whole thing, and I've always said this on the podcast. about like, if my sister turns into a zombie,
I think that's a different
blasting her.
I think that's a little different. It's a visual. It's a visual. It's the zombie thing. You can like visually see that happening, and you like know that's not going. This is you still look at her, and she looks like a regular person. And
okay, what if my sister turns vampire? She still looks like a regular person.
Yeah, but you can know that she like. Would you blast her before you knew that she was actually a vampire? How would you know that she was a vampire?
Buffy
you would
at
see
this
her
point knows that Dawn isn't real.
Yes. But she also doesn't know at this point in this episode that she needs to kill her.
Here's like
it's at the end of the end of the season where it's like it's the world or Dawn. And Buffy's like, I will choose Dawn over the world.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets a little that's where I thought I forget exactly what we said in this, but I think it would be more I could see Giles taking that. Giles wouldn't put Buffy to kill her sister on it. But Giles also probably has zero relation to Buffy's sister. Like he has connections a little bit, but this is the same Giles who injected Buffy with D-Power serum.
Yeah, and
that's the type of guy. That's the guy that's strangling Dr. Intern Ben. That's the guy that's going to choke out the sister to save the world.
That's the guy that does what's necessary.
That's the guy. That's the way to get Giles off the show and also upset everyone. Is have him kill Dawn.
Well, I mean, even in season 7 now, Buffy is like, yeah, if I could go back in time, if seeing what I've seen at this point, I'd fucking kill her.
Here's the thing, though. Giles also later is willing to go behind Buffy's back to kill Spike.
Which we said Spike should be killed several times.
We said he should be killed in this episode when I went back on the last podcast. we love Spike, but we said when she walked out and she saw Spike there and she was worried about her sister, we were like, get rid of one of the threats.
Yep.
You have too much stuff on your plate. Just kill Spike and then you can worry about your sister and your mom.
And this is also when we saw the recap, when Spike kisses Buffy and he's like, I love you so much. I remember railing against his wake up noise about how much I hated that. Still do, by the way. But yeah, I don't care if he's got Chip. He's gone.
Well,
is this before?
He's got a Chip.
This is after the shotgun thing, isn't it?
Yes, because the shotgun thing was
when Joyce passes out.
I think it might be
hospital, right?
No, the shotgun thing's later. The shotgun thing is after he's telling about killing a bunch of Slayers.
Yeah, you're right.
Because they go back to the hospital. Because this one, they've come from the hospital the first time. The next time is the hospital when they find the tumor and then you have to do surgery or something. And she's talking weird and stuff. But what... Yeah, I don't remember exactly what happened before this. But yeah, this is not after the shotgun thing. The shotgun thing was wild, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, you know what? I'll show the bitch. Shotgun time. Oh, she's sad. Like, oh, boy. Yeah. Buffy, he's got a shotgun. And he's comforting her. Yeah. Her look is just...
on Buffy's face is just like, really? This is the person that's here for me right now? Fuck.
It's so wild to think that the two of them are going to hook up after watching School Hard.
Right?
And I'm like, you're going to be banging that vampire. At least with Angel, she met him. He looked like a person. It was a reveal that he was a vampire, but he was always like a good guy, seemingly. Spike showed up and he was like, I'm going to kill you. That's my first thing that I'm going to tell you. And yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Wild. This girl's life. This is why Slayers aren't meant to live long.
Yeah.
You don't need all this. Oh, and I was thinking about the beginning, like the whole chosen one, and it can only be one Giles, like the Giles thing. It's just, every time I think about that, it's like knowing how the series ends and this whole like thing about Buffy having to be the one and carry this burden. But then at the end, it's like, nah, you don't really have to. And they could have separated. I don't know. We'll talk more about this whole there being two Slayers thing in this this Angel episode that's coming up too.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I will say this series is ripe for talking about. It's perfect for talking about stuff that it's just in a circle. Like you'll never be able to settle on stuff because it's so much lore and mystery, and you can just headcanon certain things. You can say that didn't really count. Yeah. It's ripe for discussion. It
is very ripe for discussion, which makes this such a fascinating and amazing podcast. Give it a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. 5-star rating. Tell all your Buffy friends about it.
You retired Sloppy Joe. What are they going to hear if they leave a 5-star review?
Who knows? Probably just regular Joe.
Ugh.
Yeah, regular Joe sucks.
Ugh, I can't.
That's canonical.
Yeah.
That's canon. That's as real as Xander fucking good.
Yeah, I don't know if I like Sloppy Joe or regular Joe. I gotta find the Joe that I like. I'm gonna figure out which one of them.
I am, but yeah, by the end of this episode, I was like, you know what, the Knights of Byzantium, they were onto something. I'm Team Knights of Byzantium.
Well, that's the thing. Buffy didn't need to kill all those dudes.
Yeah,
she murdered those guys.
I know that we.
Here's the thing I'll say about that. I understand Buffy's hesitation slightly to kill her sister, but she's very defending of Spike to a point that is absurd. Like, Spike is a vampire that I've seen kill multiple people, and she won't kill him because she slept with him and she thinks he might be important.
Yeah,
but which I guess she's whatever. So I understand the emotional thing that Buffy can't do that, but it's tough when Buffy has to fight all these people and stop them from getting the sister away. I get it for the story. It's tricky. I mean, we debated it season 5. It's just one of those things. I'm happy when she's no longer the key, and I just wish they would have done more with her just as a person. In season 6.
I don't know if I ever asked you this. Probably did in like the season 5 recap, but I'm going to ask it again because I don't remember. If you were given all of these fake memories and you knew that this wasn't real and that killing Dawn would save the world, I think like, I don't know, like the Buffy, when the monk says that Dawn is human, the key is human now, and Buffy doesn't kill humans, which debatable.
Oh yeah, and I forgot. Like she literally can't even do it. It's a part of her credo. Where she can't kill humans. She's like, tell me she's a demon or like a light, and I will snuff it out. Just give me the green light. That guy could have said anything, and she would have been like, cool.
Yep. But she has no problem, killing, Knights of Byzantium because they were threatening Dawn, which was the argument why she felt it was like self-defense. You're protecting your family situation. She kills Caleb, which debatable. Was he human? Is that her killing a human? Who knows? But he was threatening the world.
At that point in the series, they didn't even care anymore.
Yeah. But like, the argument of like Buffy wouldn't kill Dawn because Dawn's human now and she doesn't kill humans is out the window because she kills a bunch of Knights of Byzantium. Like at this point, obviously Caleb isn't in the picture, but she kills a bunch of she's self-defense for Dawn, who's her family, but killing Dawn is self-defense for the entire world. And she knows that the memories aren't real. I know that she feels that they're real and she has some kind of empathy for Dawn, but you know that they're not real.
I think it's easier if you know that the memories will go away if you kill her. I think if you know that's going to happen, but like a character that we're seeing in the Angel series, he knows something that happened wasn't real and he still needed to leave. Like,
that
was hard enough for him, and it wasn't real. But yeah, that's the thing. If you can do that and it goes away. But I think the trickier thing that makes it harder later is that she loses Joyce. Mm-hmm. So now she doesn't have any family.
It's like her only family.
Yeah. They play the emotional cards right. They do what they need to do emotionally to put you in a position. I think that's what they want. They want you to be like, she needs to go. Is she going to do it? And then you can like take the sides on it. Like obviously the simple, logical, factual, take all emotion out of it is just like, kill Dawn. This person can't get the key. That's fine. The thing with that is you still have to find a way to beat Glory afterwards. Yeah. Like killing Dawn doesn't instantly make Glory go away.
Yeah.
Like if Glory was smart, I know she's in pain and it sucks, but if she wasn't, she could just run this world, man. Just take over this earth. She's trying to get back home.
Yeah.
But if she wasn't, just have Dr. Turnbang go to work out during the day, and at night you just go crazy, live a vampire lifestyle.
She hates living in the body, though.
Mm-hmm, I know.
Except that she
hates. Yeah.
She like mentions all these like terrible things about being human, but she's got superpowers.
But she also is like, oh no, I broke my heels. I'm like, did you have those in your other dimension? Like, why are you so obsessed with human clothing?
Yeah.
Like, it's just that one of the things. Yeah, she should be in sweats. Those juicy sweatpants.
Yeah. Juicy, glittery ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But a fun rewatch, I gotta say.
Yeah, very fun. This is a big one. This kicks off season 5, really. Like, the previous episodes are a little set-up-y, but this one really gets the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff, man.
Good stuff indeed. You got anything else to say about No Place Like Home, Vance?
How many episodes have we rewatched that Riley's been in? 2? Has he been in? What did we do? He's not in Amends.
He's not in Amends. He's not in School Hard.
He's in Restless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Restless is the best Riley episode.
Absolutely it is.
I still like the one when he comes back.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, the one where he comes back, he's married. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. But I think he's more fun in Restless. Mm-hmm. But I'm happy for his coda, his epilogue of. I like Riley's ending. I think Riley got the best ending out of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Xander's.
And good for him.
Yeah. Xander's not a good ending, and lost Anya, not a good ending.
Yep. Dawn didn't really have anything.
Dawn just was like, hey, Buffy's alive. Cool.
Willow gets white hair. She's off with Kennedy.
Yeah, Willow ends up with a girl. Faith is
Faith's out there.
Faith's got
Robin Wood.
Yeah, so she's got a guy. Giles has a bunch of other girls he can stalk and withhold information from.
Yeah, I'm certain that this happens, but like listeners that have read the comics and know a bit more about the comics, after season 7 of Buffy, is Kennedy still like around? Is she playing a part in seasons 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 or whatever?
What are Vi and Rona up to? Because last we saw them, they were just Vi was just slapping the shit out of Rona. And they were like, that went on for centuries.
You're not going out on me, soldier. This is nothing. Maggot.
What are you? The mission's boyfriend?
God. Yeah, where's Graham?
Graham is so good. I was happy to just see that little sliver of Graham.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. The initiative days. Gosh, man.
Good stuff.
This show is in our brain now.
Yep. I'll reference it every once in a while. Yep. But that's a wrap, everybody. That's a wrap for No Place Like Home. like I said, we're going to drop a little special episode of the Boys Watching Movie Podcast next week, and then a very, very, very special episode the next week. It better fucking work out, otherwise I'm going to look like such a piece of shit for teasing this episode.
It's one of those things where I want it to not work out to screw you over, but that is also hindering something that I'm a part of.
Yeah, it would make me look like a complete ass for teasing this so much, but it's scheduled, it's booked, this fun thing that we're doing. And if it doesn't work out,
You're
I'm gonna be
such
pissed.
a slave to the calendar. Well, it's scheduled, so it has to happen.
Has to happen. If it doesn't, disappointment for me, for you, for the listeners. But be on the lookout for that in a couple of weeks. And yeah, join the Discord, patreon.com/boyswatchingbuffy, Instagram @boyswatchingbuffy, boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com, Amazon wishlist. We got merch. And yeah, stay tuned next time from when we drop that special Boys Watching Movie episode.
There's too many of them. People. And they all seem to want things.
I hear you. Stay British. You'll be okay.
Seltzer Kings.
Podcast.